Hey guys, it's Kathy from Bake Life. We're going to be making some brownies today, but not just any brownie, special Halloween brownies. But remember, these don't have to be just for Halloween. They can be for any time of year when you've got a bunch of leftover candy. Easter, Halloween, Christmas, whenever you have a ton of candy and you're like, I really shouldn't be eating all this for the next month. Let's just dump it all in our brownie and eat it all at once, right? Perfect. So we're going to start with all your basic brownie ingredients, and I made this as easy as possible. Quick, easy measurements. We're using cups. We're not weighing. I know, shocker, we're not weighing something. But I want to make it super easy for you guys. It's a small batch. We're just going to do a small 8x8 square pan, but you can use whatever you have. If you've got a round cake pan, if you've got a sheet pan, whatever works for you. We'll just adjust the time baking accordingly. So we're starting with all your usual ingredients. Your cocoa powder, which I've got here, we're mixing in with some hot water to kind of liquefy it. Now normally I'll do a unsweetened chocolate as well, along with the cocoa powder to really give it a really fudgy feel. But I think with all the candy we're gonna put in there, there's no need for all that extra chocolate. We're gonna have plenty of chocolate. And then of course our usual suspects, sugar, which is of course the star of any brownie, oil, eggs, a little bit of vanilla, a dash of salt, and of course some flour to hold it all together. Now I've got a bowl full of candy here, and we've got Reese's, Milky Way, Snickers, the classic melted milk balls. Who doesn't like those? You can even put some of those pretzels in there, because who doesn't like that salty sweet combo? I personally love it. Wouldn't recommend the Twizzlers, that'd be kind of gross. So whatever kind of candy you have in there that you either like, if you're gonna eat it yourself, or maybe it's ones that you don't like, then you can give it to your friends and neighbors. That's always nice. They think, oh, how nice, you gave us brownies. But you're like, yeah, it's all the candy I don't like. So let's get started. So like I said, we got our cocoa powder and some hot water in there. And you wanna really mix that up. I'm just using a whisk. And this is gonna all be in one bowl, so it's gonna be super easy for cleanup too. The problem with cocoa powder sometimes is it can clump. It can be a little dry, so as you're mixing it, you wanna be sure you get all the clumps out, because there's nothing worse than biting into a brownie and getting a big clump of bitter, dry cocoa powder. So I've got this mixed up pretty good. So it kind of looks like melted chocolate, so it's a nice consistency, it's real thick. All right, so next after that, we're gonna add our sugar. Now remember, I did everything with cup measurements, so it's easier for you guys. So this is super duper easy. It's 1, and I'm just doing a quick, I do a shake level, make sure it's level to the top. Got a little clump in there, we're gonna take care of that in a minute. This is 1 1/4 cups, or if you wanna measure, go for it, it's 10 ounces. Have our 1/4 cup. Same thing, we're just gonna whisk that all together. Now at this point, the whisk can get a little dicey because it gets kind of thick and clumpy. So you might want to switch out to a spatula in just a minute. So you can see, look, it's already nice and like mixed together well. Like I said, the sugar is the star of this. It's like basically sugar and chocolate. Yum. All right, next goes our eggs, right? Always gotta have eggs. Now a little bit of difference that I do in my brownies is I do half whole eggs and then half egg yolks. And what this really does is just gives it a really rich, fudgy consistency. So like always, we're gonna crack in a separate bowl. Let's use my measuring cup, because we're trying to create as few dishes as possible. All right, so that's 1. And now our egg yolk. If you haven't separated eggs, pretty easy. I've got an easy tutorial on our Facebook page. But I like to do it with 2 shells, obviously over something. And you kind of take the yolk and just kind of toss it back and forth between the shells. All right, easy peasy, into the batter, and we're done with the rest of that. Now, we'll mix that in real good. Now, the next thing, again, because these are gonna be a rich, fudgy brownie, I feel like more of a cake-like brownie, you can add the whole egg and not do just the yolk. I personally like a fudgy brownie, so we're gonna do just the yolk. I've got my oil already pre-measured. Throw that in there. Our Cookie-licious vanilla, shake that up. Now, you know me, my vanilla. That looks good. Feel free to measure, I believe it calls for a teaspoon. Now, since there's oil in there, we wanna kind of take our time mixing so we don't wanna splash everywhere. I'm still using the whisk. It seems to be working pretty good for me today. Sometimes it likes to be my enemy. Now look at this. Look at this texture and consistency. This is perfect. Everything's nice and incorporated really, really good. It's beautiful. All right, now we're gonna add our last 2 ingredients. Okay, now we're gonna add our last ingredients. Flour, just 1 cup. Dump that right in. Just doing it all in one bowl. This is super easy. Our dash of salt, you know me and my salt. All right, Again, now we're gonna slowly kind of mix this in because we don't want to go too crazy and get flour everywhere. And you also don't want to overmix, because with brownies, if you overmix that flour section, they're gonna get a little more chewy. Sometimes they can get that crust on top. Have you ever had like a brownie where you bake it and you cut it and the crust gets like super crumbly? Sometimes that can be from overmixing. So just to be aware. All right, so we're mixing it in real good. It's looking good. You don't want any clumps in there, but again, you don't want to overdo it either. So we're almost doing like a kind of a modified fold, I would say. We're not doing any kind of vigorous mixing. We're not using a mixer, a machine at all. This is strictly by hand. This is a great, easy recipe that you can do by hand. Like I said, we're all doing it all in one bowl. All right, beautiful. Now, I've got my 8x8 pan. I've already sprayed it. All right, so we're gonna put about 2/3 of our batter into the bowl, into our pan. So, you know, we're not measuring it, just kind of eyeballing it, it's fine. All right, so let that kind of spread around a little bit. And hopefully you've already decided what kind of candy you want to have and you've already unwrapped everything. I'm gonna stick with Snickers and probably some Kit Kats because we had a lot left over this year. We didn't get any trick-or-treaters. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these unwrapped and ready to go, and then we'll put them in our pan. You can get as fancy or simple as you want. If you want to lay them out all fancy so they cut nice, just throw them in the pan. Or like a half and half. Oh, that Snickers escaped to the other side. Okay, so I cut a little more candy than you probably needed. That was, I think, 5 bars of each. So again, totally up to you what you want to do. Just kind of sprinkle it in there. Okay, now we're gonna pour the rest of the batter over the top. You can see it's already getting nice and thick, which is good. Let's do a quick drizzle so it evenly distributes. As always, get all that goodness out of your bowl. Use a good spatula, use your bowl scraper. I like to use the side of the bowl like that. You can use your fingers if you want. Or kind of just spread it around a little bit, make sure everything's somewhat covered. It doesn't have to be totally covered. It's gonna spread as it cooks anyway. So no big deal. If you wanna get fancy, let's see if we can find some M&Ms, right? Okay, Whoppers. Just a couple of those for fun. Of course, can't go wrong with M&Ms. This is, I think my daughter ate the rest of them, so this is the only bag I got. So we're gonna use it sparingly. Try to make it look pretty. All right, we're ready to go in the oven. All right guys, so I put the brownies in the oven. Remember, that's a 350 oven for about 20 minutes. So once that timer goes off, we'll check them, see how gooey they are. Now, I personally like a fudgier brownie and a little bit gooier, but you do it to your liking. At 20 minutes, it should be pretty close to done. If not, we can always throw it back in for just a few more minutes. So I'll see you in 20. All right guys, so we're checking. We've done 20 minutes. We're gonna stick our toothpick here in the middle. That looks pretty gooey still. Let's focus here. But it could be in a piece of batter. So I'm gonna take a look at the edges. I always like to look at. So you can see the edges look pretty dry, almost a little cracked. See the candies all melted and gooey in there. Those Whoppers melted beautifully. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it because don't forget, it's gonna keep cooking a little bit. And since we had the darker pan, that affects it too. It makes it cook faster because it holds the heat a little more. So we'll let these cool for about 15, 20 minutes and then we'll dive in. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Sorry I didn't get any action shots of me actually eating the brownies. It took a while for them to cool, and by the time I remembered, my husband had already dug in and destroyed the pan. So they're pretty much all gone now. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notifications every time we post a video, which should be every Monday. And also be sure you follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, and stay tuned for lots of more videos. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a good day.